Conversations with Love with Eric Shawn. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Love, where we interview real live people. They share their experience of how they've overcome adversities and how they use those experiences to spread love. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Love. Today, we are so blessed to have with us Miss Mellisa Walton. And before I tell you a little bit about Mellisa, what I want us to do is to say a prayer, kind of get grounded and situated. That's okay with you, Mellisa?
That is absolutely fine.
God, thank you for giving us another day. Thank you for bringing us together so that we can combine our energies, so that you can use our energies and our experiences from our heart to reach the heart of those that need to hear it the most. May the mind and body be ours, but the words be yours. And God, thank you for every experience that you've allowed us to go through and come out the other side stronger. Thank you for allowing us to recognize how strong we are, how powerful we are. Thank you for giving us life and for continually walking with us, staying with us, never leaving us alone. Amen. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about Mellisa. First off, let me tell you, Mellisa is a transformational coach. And Mellisa, let me ask you this: what is a transformational coach?
A transformation coach is someone who takes another person and help them to move to another level, take another step in their lives if they're stuck in a situation or a lifestyle. I will come in and help them to move forward, and that is with a purpose, with business, with faith. So in all aspects of life.
Okay, so you kind of help them to get situated.
Yes, yes. To live their best life. Because a lot of times we don't feel, as humans, we don't feel that we're valued. So I want to add value, not add value, but show you that you have value. You can recognize that value and you can put it to work for you.
I like that. Let's start off with you kind of just telling the audience a little bit about how you got to this point of being a transformational coach.
Well, going through a transformation myself after a terrible first marriage and my past just been a everyday part of my life that I couldn't shake. And once again, a terrible first marriage. And then having the doctor to tell me that I had cancer. So with the bad divorce and then the cancer back to back, that was, are you gonna sink or swim?
What made the marriage so terrible, if I can ask?
A lot of verbal abuse. There was physical abuse, but there was emotional abuse. There was physical abuse and verbal, mostly verbal abuse, making me feel like I allowed this person to make me feel it's probably still too big. Make me feel this small. And I carried that for years. I just didn't feel worthy. I felt, I don't even think I can describe how I felt. It's just a feeling of not being worthy, not being worthy of love. If someone can just abuse you to the point of they just make you feel so small and you feel like you're not worthy, that was my situation. And like I said, it turned violent a couple of times. Uh, the law enforcement got involved, but there is a God. And then with the cancer, on top of that, that came after we We had separated. We weren't divorced, but the cancer came a couple of months after that. And I would say that that changed everything because when the doctors tell you you have cancer, your first thought is, how long? What am I going to do? So I had to put things into perspective, that yes, I'm going through a divorce, but also I'm going through a health crisis that I have to take control of. I can't allow someone, I think that's when I realized I could not allow this person to any longer control my thoughts, my actions, and just control me, period.
How long, and we'll get back to the cancer. How long were you married for?
2001 till 5 years.
Okay.
The marriage pretty much ended on my birthday, the day after my birthday in 2006. That was the end of that.
Was there, and usually what I've discovered is with the people that I've worked with through coaching is that there's generally signs of who the person really is
Mhm.
somewhere in the beginning, but for whatever reason we kind of overlook them because we make the person out to be who we want them to be.
Exactly.
Was that the case in your situation?
That was very much the case. In my case, it was so ironic because I worked for the airline and I actually met him. He was a passenger on one of our flights. And I actually ate as a young girl in my clubbing days. After the club, you know how you go get something to eat. I actually would go to this restaurant that his father owned and he owned, but I never knew him. I never met him. And we knew all of the same people.
Mm.
It was crazy. We knew all of the same people. My uncle was married to his wife's sister. That's how close related. My uncle's nieces and nephews are like my step cousins. But I never met him. I always heard about him, never met him. So he swept me off my he swept me off my feet.
Mm.
But I saw signs. I saw signs,
If
but
if
I just thought this was. I just thought that this was it, but I saw signs.
if we go back to before you were married, do you in your years of self-discovery, um, do you think that there was anything that kind of set you up to be in a position where you needed to create this person? Does that make sense?
Like you're saying, trying to make him be conform to what I wanted him to be,
Yeah.
so to speak. Um, Actually, no, because I thought he was really everything. He was so suave and so attentive, and he did everything. Not one time did he say that he would do something and he did not do it. He did everything. But I do see where I confided in him with my past relationship, and he took all of that in and used it against me. And he knew the things that I was weak for, and he took all that knowledge and he used it against me to get me to draw me in. And then after, I'm telling you, Eric, after 2 weeks, it may not even be that long, but I'm going to say 2 weeks. After 2 weeks of being married, I was bawling my eyes out, literally bawling.
How long were you together before you got married?
It was, oh gosh, I met him, uh, I think I met him like the end of May, the beginning of June, got married in October. Mistake number one. But he was rushing. It was like he was rushing to get married, to get married. I'm like, okay, it's my first time. I'm thinking, okay, that's he's a nice guy, and I really like him and everything.
It's too bad.
But the second one, I became friends with. We are like best friends, And I would advise anybody, be friends first. Because see, you can love someone, but if you don't like that person, you have to like the person you're with. And our divorce rate is so high now because of the pandemic, and people are finding out that they really don't like their mate because they didn't really spend that quality time with them, that time that we had to be together. They didn't know that person. So if you're not liking the person you're with, you probably have to rethink your relationship. And I wouldn't suggest divorce. I would just say work on your marriage, work on your friendship.
Yeah, this pandemic got everything shook up. I've talked to people and they're like, I never knew this was my wife was like this or my husband was like this. And why did we have all these kids? And because now you
Exactly.
have to face your life. You
Exactly.
can't get away from it,
Exactly.
you know? Uh,
Yeah.
um, so you're going through this divorce, and then you find out that you have probably one of the most terrifying health conditions I think nowadays that people can get news of. So you find out you have cancer, and what went through your mind when you first got that news, and what kind of cancer was it?
My cancer was called a sarcoma, epiloid sarcoma, and it was here on the side of my face. I had a protrusion about out to here, and they had to go into my neck, into my ear and my neck, and pull my ear all the way over to and go deep and remove it. I had to get 6 weeks of radiation, 5 days a week. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Um, it was really something, and they said it was superficial. So then, a few years after that, in 2003, I was diagnosed with another cancer,
Hmm.
and I had a major surgery for that. And they give you the 5 years before they can actually clear you. So in 2018, about 2 weeks before I was go to for my 5 year clearance, I got sick, like a pneumonia type sickness, and went to the hospital. They found out it had reoccurred again, and it was very rare. It invaded my heart, so that was scary because they said there was nothing they could do. They called MD Anderson, and we were in DC at the time at George Washington, and it was very scary times because they said it's very rare. 1 in a million people would get this, and there's nothing they can do. And my thinking, I was in panic mode. The other two, I wasn't. The other two times, I was just like, let's get ready to rumble. But this time it was different. It was invading my heart, and at any moment, a valve could get clogged or anything. And I thought they meant that I wasn't going to make it when they said there was nothing they could do. But that's not what that meant. That just meant that she could not perform a surgery because she said I would not make it off the table if she did. So they uh, referred me to this wonderful, wonderful young doctor. I have to say his name, Fasel Haroon at GW. He has literally saved my life. And he said, we're going to get through this. He said, I don't know, this is very rare, but we're going to do this. And you are young and you are spunky and you're going to be just fine. He said, live your life. So it has been uh, May 2nd to be 2 years since I had my last radiation treatment. And my chemo treatment, I stopped that maybe 8 months ago, but I still get a treatment to try to block the cancer from returning. But I have never been sick, praise the Lord. I mean, I'm the chosen one. Yes, it's cancer, But I am the chosen one because he chose me to carry this because he knew I would tell everyone how wonderful he is and how he has brought me through. No pain, never been sick with it. I had a disc. I was more sick with that and I lost 30 pounds from being in so much pain with my disc, but never with the cancer. And I am just so thankful. I am truly blessed and truly thankful. And I know that I am chosen. And I started a group called Miracle Walkers. And that is just in the hopes that people can tell their miracles and just let other people, because some people need to hear this, how good God is, and how if we just open our hearts and our minds, if we open them up to miracles, there's miracles all around us. Everywhere we look, everywhere we are, there's a miracle around us. But we have to speak it too. We have to speak life, not death. Speak life. And I'm big on that. I am so big on speaking life now because once you get close to death and someone tell you you have cancer and the doctor even tell you, wow, we don't know why you still here and you coughing up blood, when you get to that point, it's nothing but a miracle. Nothing but.
No, I completely agree with you, but I think the sad thing is not everybody would take that perspective. There's some people would say, I got into this marriage, and the marriage turned out terrible. And after 2 weeks, he turned on me, became a different person. And then on top of that, I'm going through this divorce that's already painful, and then I get cancer, and then the cancer comes back, and they could be real hateful and real mad at the world and be in a victim mentality. So my question is why are you so amazingly grateful after going through all of that?
Don't get me wrong. There was a time when I thought, excuse me, there was a time when I thought that I wasn't going to make it because he pretty much forced me out of our home. I had to immediately purchase. It was a thing where I'll get you an apartment. And I'm not the type of woman that's gonna bow down and even though with the way he treated me after the relationship, I felt small. I still didn't back down from saying you're not gonna treat me this way. I'll get you an apartment. No, you won't give me an apartment. We own a house. I'm gonna own another house. So after some litigation and all of that, we had to sign off on some things. You get this, I get that, I get to buy, purchase a home, before we get divorced, just in my name, all that type of thing. So I purchased the condo and, went on with my life. I was working at the airlines and it was very hard. And then with the cancer, when I did get the word that I had cancer, I sort of went into a depression. I said I was gonna cut all my hair off, and that's the first sign of depression or either going crazy if you just shave your head. So my neighbor called my best friend in Baltimore, and she called. She said, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Stop thinking it's your fault." And that helped me so much because something clicked. It's like, you know what? I'm not crazy. He's crazy. He's the crazy one. He's the one so miserable and making other people's lives miserable. I'm perfectly sane. I'm okay. So I started being easier on myself. And then I met my friend and he would call and I would call him and he would pray for me. We would pray together. And we talked maybe once a week. And then it started being twice a week. Never not one time did he ask about me dating? I asked about him dating. It was just a platonic relationship, and we had met through a mutual friend. And 2 years into our friendship, it was just a beautiful feeling. And one day He had gotten after church one Sunday. He said, I just feel like I've been unchained. And I said, why? What's going on? He said, I just feel so happy. And I said, why? He said, because of you. And I said, I love you too. I love you too. And from that point on, I always wanted to take him to the zoo. And I would have him like I would travel a lot. So I would say, well, come to Chicago to the Taste of Chicago. Just you need to have some fun because he was going through a divorce also. And he's like, no, no, no. And I said, let's go to the zoo. So our first date was at the Nashville Zoo. And we've been together ever since. And I'm telling you, Eric, he is the most wonderful man. I can't explain it. He's just wonderful. He has helped me. Without God and without him, I don't think I would be alive today. That's how much credit I give him, honestly.
It's amazing, isn't it? All the things that the different milestones that we have in our life, but they all are leading us to something greater
Yes.
and
I
something.
can't, how can I be angry? I did tell my godmother after that marriage, I said, if I ever tell you that I'm getting married again, slap me. So when I told her that his name is Derek, asked me to marry him, she said, get over here so I can slap you. I said, I cannot not marry him. I cannot not marry him. And I've never had bitterness, even when what happened with me and the ex, I forgave him that night because I could not carry. That burden was too heavy for me to carry. And after I got over that depression that I had gone through, yeah, it took me a while to start back growing, from that itty bitty person that I allowed him to make me feel like. It took me a while, but now I'm here. I'm here. I'm happy.
What? So tell us a little bit about the period of feeling that small, and then you start growing again. What was the process of growing like?
From feeling that small to growing, we were living in Maryland, and even though my best friend is from Maryland, my best friend of 42 years is from Maryland, and I would visit there all the time. I did not like living there, and we lived so far south. We lived towards by a Navy base, and I just didn't feel like I could thrive. So I was still having that feeling of not being worthy. I was still having the feelings of, is this what life is all about? It has to be more. I could not thrive. And I would tell my girlfriend that all the time. And I said, buddy, I just can't thrive. And she said, well, why not? You live in a beautiful home. I said, it's not about material things. Yes, we had the nice home, a nice car, all. I said, I just don't feel it. I can't thrive. I said, when we move, and my husband was gonna retire, I said, when we do move, I'm gonna pull out and not look back. I did. That's what I did too. So in 20, what's this? 2019, we came to Atlanta to look for a home because we decided we wanted to retire in Atlanta, and we found a home. And that last night, that Friday night, I skidded out and I did not look back. So now when we go back, because we have a lot of friends there, it feels like I'm on vacation.
So, well, first, God is good.
God, no, chicken is good. God is great.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Um, so, from all of that, how do we get to the transformational coach?
When I got here to Atlanta, I love, love, love Atlanta. that was like a breath of fresh air from the beginning. So just being in a new setting, a new environment, and I love the neighborhood we moved in, and I just love being here in Atlanta. So that just made me feel good just from that. So then I just started writing, journaling. I've always been a journaler. So, and I've always watched and listened to Les Brown. Um, and one day I just really started really listening to him, and just took off from there. And talking to younger girls, because I'm all about helping young girls. Because at 7 years old, and this is what I told on the Women's Summit, at 7 years old, my family and I, we were evicted. So I have a really soft spot for little girls, and I started a group called the 7 Up Girls, and it's for girls 7 up until 12, where we get together and we do fun things, skating, arts and crafts, picnics, just to let them know that they're loved, that they're not forgotten about, regardless of their circumstances. Your circumstances doesn't dictate who you are, because we all through life, we're all going to have some things that we have to go through. So we just try to show them a lot of love. So that helps me to, when you take your mind off of yourself, and I just wish people could understand this, when you start taking your mind off of yourself and putting it towards other people and other things, I'm telling you, you can find joy in that.
Say that one more time.
When you take the focus off yourself and your problems and put it in and pour into someone else, that that just brings joy to your life, along with the other people that you're doing it for. It's a win-win situation.
It's really the key, isn't it?
It's absolutely the key. I wake up every day wanting to know, who can I help, who can I reach, who can, you know, especially young girls, because the models that we have for young girls today, I watched the Grammys and I was like, that's not it. That's not the answer. And I'm not knocking anybody's career or artistry or anything, but for my nieces and my daughters, I don't want them on TV humping other girls and, you know, just no clothes on. You know what I'm saying?
You're not a big fan of young women twerking, huh?
Maybe because I can't. Maybe I'm jealous because I can't. That's probably what it is.
I'm I asked you to say that twice because one of the whole reasons that I do this show is because I think that if we lead from love, if we pour out from our heart, it really is the key. And I come into contact all the time with people that are miserable in their life. And I know that one of the reasons that they're miserable is because they're stuck in their circumstances, and they're stuck in a victim mentality. And I've always believed that one of the ways to get out of a victim mentality is to start telling your story, sharing your story, using your experience to help other people. And it's like freedom.
It is.
It's freedom. And so
It
I
is.
loved when you said that, because that's the key. When we take our
I
minds
wish.
off of ourselves, things
Yeah.
change.
Yes. I wish people could understand that more. I think that some people, because I know I was there. I was so stuck in misery, and I was so comfortable with misery that that misery belonged to me. I'm not letting my misery go. But but once I got a taste of, wow, it feels good to help someone else. I'm not thinking about me all the time. I'm not thinking about my problems all the time. There's somebody else worse off than I am. example, when I went for treatment one day, I have this on my face, and my face turned, black because of the radiation. It turned black. That didn't bother me. But one day I went for treatment, and there was a man, he had no jaw. All he had was a piece of ear, this top piece of ear.
Mm.
It was all gone. I said, how dare? But even then, I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I didn't feel, when they told my dad he had cancer, I said, Dad, are you okay? How do you feel? He said, well, I'm not going to let it bother me. And that was the attitude I had. I was like, okay, I got to go to radiate, even though it was hard because I like to sleep in the morning. So that was the only thing that was really hard. But I was like, it's not going to bother me. And then when I saw the man with no jaw, and I'm like, whoa, wow, I will never, ever complain. And even though I had a tumor invading my heart, Eric, I have not complained not one time. I actually feel, and I promise you, I feel like I am chosen. One in a million.
It's amazing how your perspective of a situation dictates your reality. We can all go through the same thing and we can see it from 1,000 different angles. You know, um, what can the world expect from Mellisa over the next 5 years?
The world can expect that I'm going to be spreading the word of the Lord and what He has done for me. He has been my Savior, my refuge, my provider, my protector, and my purpose. And I will be sharing that until the day I die because God is great. Remember, chicken is good, God is great.
You're making me feel blessed and hungry.
Me too.
Um, Number one, you're a warrior. God has instilled in you this amazing power, this amazing ability to create. And if I understand correctly, somehow, even in the darkest days, you use that to be able to maneuver your way through, whether you were aware of it at that moment or not. And it has brought you out to the other side. And now your goal is to allow the world to see how powerful and how amazing of a creator you are. You are truly one of the universe's, one of God's love angels.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Yes. I truly feel that uh, stealing from less, I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon the people how truly God has been in my life. When you're looking at death, what do you do? You have to rely on your faith. You have to rely on your loved ones. There were times when I couldn't even eat a cracker. And my husband told me, I'm really concerned now. People I used to help on the street, this is how bad I looked. I looked so bad one day that I decided I need to just try to get out of the house on my own and just run down to the store, which is like 3 minutes away. But I saw a guy that my husband and I help all the time financially. He saw me, he could not even look at me. He turned away as if he didn't see me. That's how bad I look. And I don't know if that's because he doesn't know what to say to me. And, we were still in church then, going to church, and people saw my weight loss. I tried to pull myself together the best I could, but I didn't really have any strength. I wasn't eating, my body wasn't nourished, but I still tried to go on. And people just saw the weight loss. And, people, they talk behind. They won't say anything to you, but what's wrong with her? She lost so much weight, you know. And that's fine. I totally get it. But when you realize that you were in the valley of dry bones, so to speak, I'm telling you, you can't do anything but let the world know how great he is. That's all I can do, and that's what I vow to do.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Where can people get a hold of you, or how can they get a hold of you? What's your
You
contact?
can get a hold of me at mail.com. And my site that's my site. My brand name is My New Up. And that's the saying, what are you going to do new to up in your life? So that's how they can get a hold of me. I'm open to counsel, to help pour into any way I can, to answer, to consult, answer any questions that someone may have.
Miss Mel, Mellisa, the world is in for a treat.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I am so glad, and I say this all the time, and I'll keep saying it. The greatest commodity that a man or woman can ever have is time.
Yes.
And this moment in time right here will never exist again. So it means the world to me that you decided to spend this valuable time with me and my audience.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure getting to know you better, and I hope that I have a chance to grow with you and to watch you grow.
Yes, thank you. It has been an honor and a privilege to spend this time with you. And I thank you so very much for this opportunity.
One final message that you want to leave people with, what would it be?
To learn not to live in your misery, to open up your heart and your mind. You don't have to be miserable. You don't have to be your circumstance. It's so much more out here, and there's so many people willing to help. You just need to take that first step. And once you do, it'll open the doors for you. And like our coach, like our mentor says, Les Brown, do what you can, and God will do what you can't.
So very true. Thank you again for sharing this time with us, and I look forward to talking to you more.
Thank you so much.
I hope the rest of your day is amazing.
Thank you. Yours too.
Conversations with Love with Eric Sean.